Tensions flare over top police appointments. First tonight, the opposition slams a deputy commissioner pick, but the PLP fires back. The Prime Minister slams the criticism, why his party's chairman says the attack feels targeted. But first, a small community in Bimini mourning after a heartbreaking tragedy claims the life of a 15-year-old in a devastating car accident over the weekend. His aunt shares the family's grief and fond memories of the young man taken too soon. Also, we'll tell you the major win for Colors Entertainment and Junkanoo organization tonight. After a controversial protest, the group walks away with a double victory this Junkanoo season. Then in our news at 7:30, the wait is over. The keys to a brand new 2024 BYD Yuan Pro SUV in the hands of our lucky winner. Stay tuned to see the moment she drives off with her prize in tonight's special Ride Easy with Our News reveal. Our News Live at 7 starts right now. Welcome to Our News Live at 7. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Candino Knowles. As the Royal Bahamas Police Force navigates its transition with a new leadership team, the opposition raising concerns about one of two recent deputy commissioner appointments. Opposition leader Michael Pintard says he sounded the alarm in a letter ahead of Shanta Knowles' recent swearing in as Commissioner of Police. Tonight, his remarks drawing sharp criticism, with the Prime Minister calling them unhelpful, while PLP Chairman Fred Mitchell suggests the comments were targeted. We'll dive into the back and forth in less than 5 minutes. But first, a heartbreaking tragedy has left the small community of Bimini grieving after a 15-year-old died in a devastating car accident over the weekend. Our Devado Emmanuel spoke with his aunt, who shared the family's pain and memories of the young man taken too soon.
She was just Jaja. Always had a smile on his face. His loss is, oh my God, it's heartbreaking.
The accident happened just after midnight on Kings Highway in Baileytown, Bimini. According to police reports, the teen was driving a silver Mitsubishi Colt when he lost control of the vehicle and collided with a parked flatbed truck outside a local business. The tragedy has left the Johnson family reeling. His aunt telling his name was Jaja. She says it's a term of endearment for a young man who, by all accounts, brightened up the lives of those around him.
Anton was quiet in his own way. He was loving, always had a smile on his face. Even if you corrected him about something, he was never disrespectful.
Sweeting says the family had just spent the holidays together.
He and my husband was outside talking, and I went to the door. I said, "You passing just like that and you don't hear me?" He threw up his hand and he said, "Hey, Annabelle, what's going on?"
She insists this tragedy hits even harder as it reopens wounds from a similar loss her family endured more than a decade ago.
My son was murdered in Nassau. So I know the hurt his mom is experiencing as a mother. It makes you feel empty, lost, like, oh God, you only have sense to call on Jesus.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Devado Emmanuel.
All right, what a sad story. Our hearts go out to that family tonight. Meanwhile, a 31-year-old woman burned severely after a fire damaged her West End Avenue home early this morning. Police say it happened just before 4 a.m. when the woman woke up to a fire in her Blue Hill Road residence. The woman was able to escape before fire services arrived and extinguished the blaze. Police say the victim sustained burns and was taken to hospital by EMS. And now to those objections over Anthony Roll's appointment as Deputy Commissioner of Police, with Progressive Liberal Party Chairman Fred Mitchell defending the move and affirming his party support for Roll. Opposition leader Michael Pintard says he raised concerns in a letter ahead of the swearing-in of Shanta Knowles as Commissioner on Friday and Roll and Kirkwood Andrews as deputies on Saturday. Prime Minister Philip Davis slammed Pintard's criticism, calling it disappointing and unhelpful, while Mitchell suggested the opposition leader's comments appeared targeted.
Mr. Pintard's statements about Mr. Roll coming from anyone else other than a senior political figure like him, would almost certainly be libelous because the comments are not only false but seemed calculated to injure Mr. Roll as a policeman in his profession and was deliberately calculated, it seems, to lower him in the esteem with which he is held in the eyes of right-thinking members of society.
And Mitchell says his party expects Roll to perform his duties without fear or favor.
The F&M sent Clayton Fernanda, then Lerman Delaveau, 2 senior officers home to do nothing. The F&M and its government is cruel, mean, begrudgeful, and vengeful. Now the leader of the opposition, Michael Pintard, is making an excuse as he attacks Mr. Roll in his new post. But this attack, we see beyond it. It is entirely political and politically motivated, and it tells you what you can expect if Mr. Pintard is elected to higher office, God forbid.
All right. The 2025 Junkanoo season may have ended, but not without a fight from Colors Entertainment and Junkanoo organization, which has now secured a double win. The group protested the results of the B category in the 2024 Boxing Day Parade, which initially named the Fancy Dancers the overall winners, but that protest led the group to a 2-straight finish. Chris Justilian is the group's leader.
And we pointed out various infractions that were not being adhered to. I think they finally admitted that there was some error in calculation. But things like music and choreography is always subjective. It's up to the person what they see. So those things we'll never challenge. But things that are definitely obvious, such as what is considered to be a Junkanoo costume, and the groups that go through great efforts to create their costumes to match what is required, I think they should be given the additional attention.
And while Justilian says a costuming concern posed an issue after the 2023 Junkanoo Parade, he doesn't see this win as redemption. Instead, he says it's about maintaining the standards and improving the parades.
We here at Colors, we just want the parades to be fair because all of the groups work hard. They put in a lot of hours, and I'd like to commend the competitors for their efforts because Junkanoo is something that engages the community, right? It helps to bring a sense of belonging, a sense of pride. So everyone is working hard. But whenever you're judging something and you have rules set aside to make good judgment, you have to look at all of the things in an unbiased way and encourage those who are doing well to continue to do well, and those who are not meeting the mark to try harder next time.
All right, we've got much more to get to tonight. But for now, it's time for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is standing by in the Weather Center. Greg, the temps have dipped. Perhaps no surprise, though, the U.S. reporting its first winter storm of the year in the U.S. Capitol. I think they said about 8 inches of snow in the U.S. mid-Atlantic.
Yeah. First real Arctic outbreak of cold air mass.
Yeah.
In 2 years. This is going to be the coldest they've had for a very long
Gosh.
time. We're going to get in on some of that.
I was going to say, is how big of the impact?
Well, our temperatures should drop into the northwest Bahamas into the low 70s during the day, and we can see some 50s across the extreme northern islands. But we'll wait to see how the air mass pans
I know
out.
some folks who are very happy about these temperatures.
Yeah, time to pull out the sweaters, the boots.
Absolutely.
All the thick things. 75 degrees outside our studios, a few clouds. It's breezy, winds out of the southwest at 15 miles per hour. Feels like temperature at 73. Temperatures around the islands right now, 76 in Freeport, 75 Marsh Harbor, Abaco. We pick up 76s again in Alistown, Bimini, Great Harper Key. 72 over in Nicholstown, Andros. Governor's Harbor 74 and into the central Bahamas. 74 Kemps Bay, 73s in Coburn Thompson, Salvador, Georgetown, Arthurstown, Cat Island 72, 75 in Deadman's Key and into the southeast Bahamas, 77 Duncan Town, Ragged Island, Matthew Town, Inagua. 76s, Delectable Bay, Abrams Bay, 72 in Colonel Hill, Cricket Island, and Providencial Districts and Caicos Islands. You guys are 75. Taking a look at our satellite and radar composite, we have a weak ridge of high pressure across us. It's going to be sliding out towards the north, but here comes the front. The front is now across central Florida. That will bring in some isolated showers across the northwest Bahamas. By about midnight, should get into the capital by early tomorrow morning. But behind that, cold air mass is coming. We're looking for some temperatures, like I said, to get into the 60s and 70s during the day, and they will be in the 50s at night. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Coming up in sports, an update from NCAA Hoops, and the Battle of the Ballers hits the baseball diamond.
KFC Value Box for just $9.95. Crunch your KFC craving with a KFC Value Box for just $9.95. Get a piece of...
Joshua Williams here. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button and to follow all of our social media pages. Also, don't forget to push that notification button so that you can see all of the great content from the team you already trust.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahama's Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahama's Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 6...
Each week, we go into the heart of our second city and talk to the people helping to shape this community.
This is what makes me happy to come to work every day, to know that I'm helping someone.
These are the faces of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, helping to maintain infrastructure, grow the economy, and bring a better quality of life.
Our mission statement is to better the lives.
Because I have to be a part of Grand Bahama.
Join me at Talia Hall every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on Our News as we share these inspiring stories of Freeport. Stay with the team you already trust.
From these hallowed and historic halls is where justice is administered daily. Yet these courts are challenged with backlogs, resources, and aging facilities. But
Welcome to Our Sports at 7, presented by Tanthier Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Martnut. Let's do show. The SEC is expected to be one of the toughest conferences in women's college basketball this season, and just 2 games in, Ole Miss is seeing just how tough it can be. Despite a strong first half showing, number 25 Ole Miss surrendered a 16-point second half lead in a 60-58 loss to the Texas A&M Aggies on the road Sunday afternoon. Ole Miss fell to 2-4, 1-1 in the SEC, while the Aggies improved to 8-6, also 1-1 in the SEC. Ole Miss shot 50% in the first half to go along with its nationally ranked defense that forced 17 turnovers and 9 steals. In men's basketball, AJ Storr had his most efficient game of the season, and his Kansas Jayhawks had the second largest margin of victory in program history Sunday afternoon. Storr finished with 11 points in just 15 minutes of the Jayhawks' 99-45 win over the UCF Knights at Addition Financial Arena in Orlando. He shot 5 for 8 from the field and made 1 of 2 threes.
The first Battle of the Ballers brought some of the country's top talent to the baseball diamond. Team Deshaun won the $3,000 cash prize with a 7-3 win over Team Tonio in Saturday night's finale at the Andre Rogers National Stadium.
LDK Performance will host a week of events aimed at showcasing young Bahamian baseball players to an international audience. The organization will host its national weekend January 7th through the 11th. LDK and the MLB Players Alumni Association will host a free camp Tuesday and Wednesday, 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. at the Andre Rogers National Stadium.
Buddy Hield and the Golden State Warriors continued to struggle. This time, it was a lopsided loss to one of his former teams. Hield scored just 7 points in the Warriors' 129-99 loss to the Sacramento Kings last night at the Chase Center.
That'll do it for Our Sports. Stay tuned to Our News at 7:30 for details on these stories and more.
When our news comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as the United States Congress certifies Donald Trump's 2024 election win. Plus, as the new U.S. president prepares to take office, Canada's leader announces his resignation. And his wasn't the only in the past 48 hours. Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley also announced the end of his 45 years of service to country. The story when Our News returns.
Each week, we go into the heart of our second city and talk to the people helping to shape this community.
This is what makes me happy to come to work every day, to know that I'm helping someone.
These are the faces of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, helping to maintain infrastructure, grow the economy, and bring a better quality of life.
Our mission statement is to better the lives.
Because I have to be a part of Grand Bahama.
Join me at Talia Hall every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on Our News as we share these inspiring stories of Freeport. Stay with the team you already trust.
From these hallowed and historic halls is where justice is administered daily. Yet these courts are challenged with backlogs, resources, and aging facilities. But improvements like e-filing, the enacted court services bill, and more specialized courts are signaling a modernized judiciary. On January 8, RTV presents live coverage of the opening of the legal year. Join us as we explain how this ongoing transformation affects you and the administration of justice.
This is our news. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. The United States Congress has officially certified Donald Trump's victory in the 2024 presidential election, with Vice President Kamala Harris overseeing the Electoral College count. It marks a smooth transition, unlike January 6, 2021, when a deadly riot unfolded at the Capitol. Trump, now set to return to the White House, has promised pardons for January 6 defendants on day one of his presidency. The 119th Congress, under Republican control, gearing up to advance Trump's agenda. Meanwhile, outside a D.C. jail, supporters of Capitol riot defendants continue nightly vigils, over 800 days strong, as the nation re-enters a diverse chapter in history.
I do believe very strongly that America's democracy is only as strong as our willingness to fight for it. Every single person, their willingness to fight for and respect the importance of our democracy. Otherwise, it is very fragile, and it will not be able to withstand moments of crisis. And today, America's democracy stood.
Meanwhile, the first major winter storm of the year blanketed the United States mid-Atlantic on Monday, dropping up to 8 inches of snow in parts of Maryland and Virginia. Washington, D.C. saw 5 inches by morning, forcing federal offices and public schools to close. The U.S. Capitol shrouded in snow as streets emptied and commuters stayed home. Forecasters say the storm is expected to move out to sea by tonight. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced he'll step down as Liberal Party leader after 9 years in office, but will stay on until a replacement is chosen. Trudeau's popularity has plummeted amid rising prices and a housing crisis, with polls predicting a crushing defeat to the Conservatives in the next election, due by October. The move follows mounting pressure from his party, especially after Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland's recent resignation over policy disputes.
This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election.
And Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley announced he'll step down before the end of his term and won't contest the next general election. Rowley, who has served in politics for 45 years, made the announcement at a press conference in Tobago, thanking supporters and saying it's time to focus on my family. Opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessar called his decision a clear admission of failure and urged him to call elections immediately. Rowley has been Prime Minister since 2015 and led the People's National Movement for over a decade.
45 years is a long time, and I would like at this time to say thank you appropriately along the way to all those who have supported my effort and who have benefited from, I hope, I would have positively impacted this country somewhere, sometime. As we settle Tobago screening tomorrow, I continue to be the political leader of the PNM. We will call for nominations in the other seats where I represent the people of Diego Martin West, who have supported me resolutely from 1991 to now. and I will thank them appropriately and ensure that they are not left adrift. But I will not be offering myself, as I just said. I want to say something else. Before the end of the legal limits of this term, I will resign this office and go off to my family. Thank you all very much, and see you again sometime soon.
Still to come in our news, today in history, find out interesting facts about the day that was January 6th. Then in our news at 7:30, Arthur Wilson's road to recovery. Months after being shot multiple times, doctors say he may never walk again. His family holding on to hope, now turning to Cuba for a chance at a new life. And the keys to a brand new 2024 BYD Yuan Pro SUV in the hands of our Lucky Ride Easy with Our News winner. See the moment Amanda Roxbury claimed her prize when Our News returns.
Donald Trump has been elected president, defeating Vice President Kamala Harris.
America has spoken. Donald J. Trump is headed for a second term in the White House, with a Republican majority in the Senate and the Supreme Court. On January 20th, the world will witness his inauguration, and Our News will be there. What will his changes mean for Bahamians in the region? Join Jerome Sawyer and the Our News team for a week of reports starting Inauguration Day, because Our News is always there when it counts.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
Joshua Williams here. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button and to follow all of our social media pages. Also, don't forget to push that notification button so that you can see all of the great content from the team you already trust.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the Our News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams you already trust.
On this day in Bahamian history in 1932, the Daily Tribune reported on the reprieve of then British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, who came to New Providence. Weeks before, Churchill had an accident while in New York on a speaking tour. The paper reported he had come to Nassau to recover his health and strength. 8 years later, in 1940, James Catalan was born in Nassau. Catalan was a writer, actor, producer, and director. Hailed as a Bahamian cultural legend, icon, and warrior, Catalan passed away on August 18, 2018. He was 78 years old. And in 2003, Sir Gerald Christopher Cash, lawyer, politician, former member of Parliament, and former Governor General, died in Nassau. Cash, who suffered a stroke 6 days prior to his death, was 85. His legal and political career spanned almost 50 years, culminating in his service as Governor General from 1979 to 1986. 10 years later, Flamingo Gardens Primary School was renamed in his honor. All right, on January 6, 2000, 25 years ago, convicted murderer David Mitchell was put to death at Her Majesty's Prison. He was the last man to die under the law for his crimes. While capital punishment still on the books as the ultimate sentence, it has not been carried out since. Jerome Sawyer has this recap.
David Mitchell was put to death early on the morning of January 6, 2000. He was convicted of the 1994 double murder of German couple Horst and Trude Hennings. Prosecutors and police say Mitchell, 20 years old at the time, broke into the couple's Treasury Abaco home and stabbed them to death as they slept. Police believed it was a robbery gone bad and claimed to have found him washing blood from his pants. The legal battle to save his life began 4 months earlier, going as far as the Privy Council, in the hopes of having his sentence commuted to life in prison. The victim's family and German government called for clemency. In 1997, a landmark London Privy Council ruling deemed that executing a death row inmate after 5 years is inhumane. Mitchell hit the 5-year threshold in August of 1999. Attempts by his then lawyer, Philip Davis, to get a stay of execution on a constitutional motion were unsuccessful. Mitchell's final appeal before the Privy Council was dismissed on December 14th. In late December of 1999, Mitchell was read his death warrant and preparations began for a double execution on January 6. Convicted murderer and well-known beautician John Higgs was scheduled for hanging the same day. He was convicted of the 1993 murder of his wife Joan. Higgs escaped the gallows by taking his own life the day before his scheduled hanging. He was found with a deep cut to his right wrist. Despite the dramatic turn of events hours before, 27-year-old Mitchell faced the gallows early on the morning of January 6, 2000. Media reports on that day described an eerie silence at the Fox Hill compound. After 7 that morning, a death notice hung from the prison gate confirming the execution. A few hours later, he was buried in the prisoner's section of a nearby graveyard. Mitchell's execution ended a spate of 4 years of hangings after a 12-year hiatus.
It's been 25 years since this series of events, and while still on the books as the punishment for a capital crime, the gallows at the Department of Corrections remain unused as the ultimate punishment for criminal activity. Reporting for our news, I'm Jerome Sawyer. All right, thanks so much for that, Jerome. If you want to watch that story again and for all of today's top stories, you can visit ournews.bs. That does it for us in News at 7. Joining us now is Natalia Hall with the latest headlines. Natalia?
And welcome back.
Thank you.
Happy New Year. You've been missing for a while. Yes, welcome back to the desk. Our audience may have been confused, but I'm so happy to have you back.
It's been a long holiday.
I know.
A long holiday, but hey, 2 successful parades.
For sure.
2 successful Junkanoo parades. And certainly want to just say hats off to the entire RTV production team for making
such a great job.
Yeah.
All right, thanks so much, Ken. Well, the keys to a brand new 2024 BYD UN Pro SUV are in the hands of our lucky Ride Easy with Our News winner. See the moment Amanda Roxbury claimed her prize. Here are your latest headlines. First tonight on Our News Live at 7:30, months after being shot multiple times, Arthur Wilson faced a grim prognosis, but remains hopeful. Tonight, we hear from his mother. Also, a 45-year-old man is recovering from serious facial and head injuries after a dispute turned violent in Flamingo Gardens on Saturday night. Plus, a family law expert says the Bahamas must adopt more cost-effective and efficient measures to protect domestic abuse victims. Our Berthany McDermott has the details coming up. And later, Commissioner Shanta Knowles received widespread support at the Royal Bahamas Police Force annual church service on Sunday. We have more from the well-attended service when Our News Live at 7:30 returns.
This holiday season, the Ministry of Energy and Transport is bringing light back to Bahamian homes. Through our partnership with Bahamas Power and Light, we're offering the Merry and Bright Holiday Reconnection Program, so you can pay as little as 10% of your outstanding balance and get reconnected. Just in time for the holidays. Pay a little, light up a lot. The Ministry of Energy and Transport is committed to making sure no family is left in the dark this season.
I love my EV. I am Generation E.
I am Generation E. I am Generation E.
And I am Generation E.
Every season creates an opportunity for you to enjoy the comfort and security of your most valuable assets. Unfortunately, termites are common and very unwanted guests that never stop eating. With Struckum, you can enjoy the peace of mind as we protect your investment with our 3-year fumigation warranty. Struckum, #1 in pest control services.
Each week, we go into the heart of our second city and talk to the people helping to shape this community.
This is what makes me happy to come to work every day, to know that I'm helping someone.
These are the faces of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, helping to maintain infrastructure, grow the economy, and bring a better quality of life.
Our mission statement is to better the lives.
Because I have to be a part of Grand Bahama.
Join me, Italia Hall, every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on Our News as we share these inspiring stories of Freeport. Stay with the team you already trust.
From these hallowed
Welcome to our news. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Italia Hall. Months after he was shot several times, Arthur Wilson is still picking up the pieces of his shattered life. As our Joshua Williams tells us, doctors say he'll probably never walk again, despite the grim prognosis. He and his mother say they're holding on to hope and faith that his medical trip to Cuba will help him walk again.
All in my mind, I was praying just to stay alive. I have a war praying, mother. Appreciate, because it wasn't for I would have been out.
On August 28th, Arthur Wilson was shot while standing outside a building on Yonge Street. He says the shooting happened moments after he filed a complaint at the Criminal Investigations Department. I visited his mom, Pastor Althea Ferguson, who described it as a call no mother wanted to hear. And months later, Arthur finally returned home after being hospitalized for months. While his family is grateful he's home and alive, Arthur has a long road ahead. As he's paralyzed on the left side, doctors saying he may not walk again. His family is seeking to raise $30,000, believing he still has a chance.
The GoFundMe is so he can see another doctor for a second opinion, because they said he will not be able to walk again. But we want to get a second opinion in reference to that. And we spoke to several doctors that give us a 75%. It's a possibility it can happen. But the finance is the biggest situation here right now.
And while the situation may look bleak, the mother and son duo remain faithful, giving this bit of advice to any family going through a similar situation.
Don't give up. Continue to push. Continue to push, because there's somebody out there to help everybody or anybody.
Don't give up. Keep praying and put God first. Trust in God and make it through.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
All right, thanks so much for that, Josh. Well, a 45-year-old man is nursing severe facial and head injuries following an altercation over the weekend in Flamingo Gardens. Here's what we know. Around 10 p.m. Saturday, the victim and another was involved in a dispute at a home on Doubloon Drive. As a result, the suspect threw a hot liquid substance on the victim and struck him with a blunt object. He remains in hospital in serious condition. Investigation into this matter continues. A 61-year-old man has been jailed for 18 months after he pleaded guilty for groping a teenage girl. The 15-year-old victim was watching the New Year's Day Junkanoo parade at Frederick Street with her father when Ernest Thompson groped the girl. Thompson was arrested for indecent assault after the girl's father reported the incident to the Central Police Station. Thompson pleaded guilty to indecent assault at his arraignment before Magistrate Samuel McKinney. Thompson, who didn't have a lawyer, asked to be placed on probation. However, the magistrate noted that Thompson was ineligible for probation as he had been convicted of rape before. Thompson was also ordered to pay $2,500 in compensation to the victim's father to defray the costs of counseling. While the Bahamas continues to make strides to increase protection against domestic violence, attorney and chairman of the Family Law Division, Renard Henfield, says policies need to change. He also thinks more efficient laws are needed and a more cost-effective process is required to get abuse victims' safety. Bertha McDermott reports.
As the Bahamas continues to see several cases of domestic violence, attorney Renard Henfield believes stronger legal protection is needed in this area. He says too often men and women find themselves trapped in relationships suffering from abuse.
And domestic violence isn't just somebody beating the hell out of you. Domestic violence comes in the form of somebody mentally abusing you, verbally abusing you, emotionally abusing you, financially abusing you.
In 2024, a study from the Inter-American Development Bank shared that 1 in 4 women in the Bahamas had suffered physical or sexual violence in their life, with survivors speaking out about challenges accessing healthcare, law enforcement, and social services in the country. Henfield says many remain in abusive marriages for many reasons. He believes it's too difficult to get abuse victims out of harmful environments.
If one of your sisters were to come to my law firm to say I'm being abused by my husband and we have 2 or 3 kids, I should be able to get them out of that abusive relationship and home environment within 48 hours. Not a month, not 3 months. They shouldn't have to serve their husband with court documents and then run the risk of this person coming home and beating the living hell out of them.
For this to happen, he says, there is a need for policy changes, more efficient laws, and a more cost-effective process. Amid calls for greater protection for abuse victims is the controversial conversation on marital rape.
I fully support it, but I would say to you that it is already a crime, but it's just not called marital rape. If the act says any spouse who has unwanted sex with their spouse can be guilty of an offense and punishment up to 15 years, that's marital rape. You can call it whatever you want.
He admits, though, that there are cultural barriers that hinder the recognition of marital rape.
The church, who unfortunately is of the view that man and woman came before the church to get married and said until death do us part, may be the biggest hindrance.
Reporting for our news, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Thanks so much for that, Berthany. Well, the pews at Life Changers Ministries was filled as the Royal Bahamas Police Force held their annual church service Sunday afternoon. Many showing support for the new Commissioner of Police, Shanta Knowles, who will officially assume leadership of the Royal Bahamas Police Force in a handover ceremony at police headquarters on Friday. Commissioner Knowles takes the helm amid an ongoing corruption scandal involving senior police officers and the resignation of the former Commissioner Clayton Fernandez. Prime Minister Philip Davis reflected on the story of Noah in the Bible, which focused on renewal, restoration, and new beginnings.
Like Noah, we too stand at a crossroads. The storms of crime, mistrust, and hardship have tested the very foundation of our society. But today, we turn the page. Today, we take our first steps toward a new chapter, a chapter defined not by fear, but by hope, not by despair, but by determination.
Life Changers Ministry Senior Pastor Bishop Valentino Williams speaking on the importance of integrity and loyalty within the police force. He also encouraged the public to support the new commissioner.
This is no time to badmouth and withhold support from our Madam Commissioner. It's time to put aside all of our differences, whether you're PLP or FNM or COI or some other group. It's time to put those differences aside and band together to carry out the assignment. This is a mammoth task, and she cannot do it by herself.
Well, we're now 6 days into the new year, and Urban Renewal's co-chairman, Reverend Dr. Diana Francis, says they've already hit the ground running. For those of you that don't know, it's a government-backed program that seeks to improve the quality of life for citizens living in inner-city communities. But Francis says this year, while they'll still be supported by government, the goal is to be more independent of the state.
Well, Urban Renewal is presently now taking on the Urban Renewal Authority. So it has a level of continuity. So no governmental agency can come in and bring change to the work of urban renewal, change to the work of the inner city, to be able to go in there and impact the senior citizens, to help the young people, to help those who are struggling academically, and that kind of thing. And so Urban Renewal continues to do the grocery ministries, continues to be that inner city voice of the government that gives you a first hands-on touch, so that you don't have to, so that the persons in the community don't have to go through the red tape.
It's been the goal of community leaders like Dr. Francis to reach inner city youth as the country continues to struggle with social ills such as crime, poverty, and drug use. Francis says it's important for programs like Urban Renewal to reach inner city youth as they're not the future. They are the future, but the now.
In the next 10 years, they're going to be taking the helms of leadership. In the next 10 years, I'm meeting kids now who I would have met in my earlier years of education, and these children are in their 40s. Okay, they're in leadership positions. Some of them are pastoring churches. Okay, they're making a difference in our country. And it was then in those days that we started off sowing the seeds in their lives. And now those seeds have come to bring people who are birthing positive change.
Well, expect even cooler weather tomorrow as temperatures are expected to dip. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is live in the Weather Center with your first look at weather. Greg, it's cold outside. I think it has me a little bit under the weather. What can we expect?
More cold.
Wow.
It's coming.
I got to get my sweater and my tam and my scarf.
You forget the boots.
Yes.
Make sure you get the boots. Yeah, the cold air is on its way, and we are going to see it getting in here by tomorrow. 75 degrees is our current temperature outside our studios right now, though, with a few clouds. It is breezy. Winds out of the southwest at 15 miles per hour. Feels like temperature is at 73. Sideline radar composite. Weak high pressure across our area, that's going to be sliding towards the east and away from us. So winds are going to be relaxing across the central and southeast Bahamas, but the wind's going to be picking up across the northwest Bahamas, all ahead of this frontal boundary that's now across central Florida. Should get into the Grand Bahama area by about midnight, here in the capital by early tomorrow, but at least before 11, 12 o'clock, and then it's expected to fall apart. Behind that, very cold air mass is expected. We're looking for some very, very chilly temperatures, mainly across the northwest Bahamas over the next couple of days. That's a quick check on conditions around the island. Stick with us. Look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, meet the grand prize winner of the Ride Easy with Our News promotion as she drives off in a brand new 2024 BYD Yuan Pro SUV. Stay tuned to see the moment she's been waiting for. But first, an unfortunate start to the new year in Grand Bahama as authorities investigate a suspected drowning in West End. What family members suspect may have been the cause when Our News returns.
Elected president, defeating Vice President Kamala Harris.
America has spoken. Donald J. Trump is headed for a second term in the White House with a Republican majority in the Senate and the Supreme Court. On January 20th, the world will witness his inauguration, and Our News will be there. What will his changes mean for Bahamians in the region? Join Jerome Sawyer and the Our News team for a week of reports starting Inauguration Day. Because Our News is always there when it counts.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
Each week, we go into the heart of our second city and talk to the people helping to shape this community.
This is what makes me happy to come to work every day, to know that I'm helping someone.
These are the faces of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, helping to maintain infrastructure, grow the economy, and bring a better quality of life.
Our mission statement is to better the life.
Because I have to be a part of Grand Bahama.
Join me at Talia Hall every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on Our News as we share these inspiring stories of Freeport. Stay with the team you already trust.
From these hallowed and historic halls is where justice is administered daily. Yet these courts are challenged with backlogs, resources, and aging facilities. But improvements like e-filing, the enacted court services bill, and more specialized courts are signaling a modernized judiciary. On January 8th, RTV presents live coverage of the opening of the legal year. Join us as we explain how this ongoing transformation affects you and the administration of justice.
Each week, we go into the...
An unfortunate start to the first weekend of the new year in Grand Bahama. This as authorities investigate a suspected drowning in the West End community. On Sunday, we heard from a local fisherman who discovered the body and a family member of the victim. West End resident and fisherman Derek Darville Sr. says he made the unfortunate discovery early Sunday morning. Darville tells Our News he initially mistook the body found floating in the water for a tire while out fishing. Police say they received reports around 9:30 of a man found unresponsive near a local church. A medical team later pronounced him dead at the scene. When our news arrived on the scene Sunday morning, Lawrence Lang, who identified himself as the victim's brother, admits he was shocked to learn of his sibling's passing. He suspects his brother may have suffered a cramp due to the cold water. Darville, who also believes a cold water cramp could have played a role, had this advice for fellow fishermen.
When they hit the water and they feel it, if you can't take it, jump back in the boat. Because sometimes I go there, the water be cold, and sometimes when you jump in the water, like you jump into a fridge and you feel a prickle going through your skin. So all I will be doing is locking up your veins. The cold gonna clog your veins, so you feel it like something sticking you all over your body. That would be the cold, But the best thing, what we do in the cold water, we get the baby oil, we rub them with the baby oil, and then we put on our suits so when you dive, the water don't stay on your body, just right off the baby oil.
Press liaison officer Superintendent Stephen Roll told Our News an autopsy will be conducted to determine the exact cause of death, but also had this advice for those entering the water during the winter season. He says it's always important to read the local weather report
and follow those weather reports accordingly to avoid any type of incident from occurring while at sea. And to always let someone know where you're going and have the necessary equipment on board your vessels if you decide to go inside a vessel during this type of weather.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
When Our News comes back from the break, the grand prize is finally claimed. See the moment Amanda Roxbury drove off in her brand new 2024 BYD UN Pro SUV.
Coming up in sports, college hoops hits conference play and a big weekend ahead for LDK Performance.
And a welcome dip in temperatures now hovering in the high 60s. Well, just how long can you expect the sweater weather to stay? Find out in our extended weather forecast when Our News continues. Stay with us.
We go into the heart of our second city and talk to the people helping to shape this community.
This is what makes me happy to come to work every day, to know that I'm helping someone.
These are the faces of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, helping to maintain infrastructure, grow the economy, and bring a better quality of life.
Our mission statement is to better the lives.
Because I have to be a part of Grand Bahama.
Join me at Talia Hall every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on Our News as we share these inspiring stories of Freeport. Stay with the team you already trust.
From these hallowed and historic halls is where justice is administered daily. Yet these courts are challenged with backlogs, resources, and aging facilities. But improvements like e-filing, the enacted court services bill, and more specialized courts are signaling a modernized judiciary. On January 8th, RTV presents live coverage of the opening of the legal year. Join us as we explain how this ongoing transformation affects you and the administration of justice.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Donald Trump.
Welcome to Our Sports, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Mark Nutt. Let's do show. The SEC is expected to be one of the toughest conferences in women's college basketball this season, and just 2 games in, Ole Miss is seeing just how tough it can be. Despite a strong first half showing, number 25 Ole Miss surrendered a 16-point second half lead in a 60-58 loss to the Texas A&M Aggies on the road Sunday afternoon. Ole Miss fell to 2-4, 1-1 in the SEC, while the Aggies improved to 8-6, also 1-1 in the SEC. Ole Miss shot 50% in the first half to go along with its nationally ranked defense that forced 17 turnovers and 9 steals. They layered nearly wire to wire and had a 16-point advantage in the second half until the Aggies rallied late and took the lead for the first time with 2:50 left to play in regulation.
We still had opportunities. We missed key free throws, we missed key layups, we missed key defensive rebounds, and it shouldn't have even gotten that close. And we just didn't take care of business, and this was a must-win game for them, and they acted like it, and we didn't.
In men's basketball, AJ Storr hit his most efficient game of the season, and his Kansas Jayhawks had the second largest margin of victory in program history Sunday afternoon. Storr finished with 11 points in just 15 minutes of the Jayhawks' 99-45 win over the UCF Knights at Addition Financial Arena in Orlando. He shot 5 for 8 from the field and made 1 of 2 threes. In his first season with the Jayhawks, Storr is averaging 7.5 points in just over 20 minutes per game while shooting 42% from the field and 34% from 3.
The first Battle of the Ballers brought some of the country's top talent to the baseball diamond. Team Deshaun won the $3,000 cash prize with a 7-3 win over Team Tonio in Saturday night's finale at the Andre Rogers National Stadium. The winning team featured several minor league prospects on their roster led by Deshaun Knowles, Sharif Nemore of the Miami Marlins, Chad Delancey, and E.J. Darville of the Boston Red Sox, and Andrew Arthur of the St. Louis Cardinals. International Elite Sports Academy partnered with Gulfstream Petroleum and Energy and G-Ball Apparel to host the event.
LDK Performance will host a week of events aimed at showcasing young Bahamian baseball players to an international audience. The organization will host its national weekend January 7th through the 11th. LDK and the MLB Players Alumni Association will host a free camp Tuesday and Wednesday, 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. at the Andre Rogers National Stadium. On January 9th, LDK and Ararat Homes will host a group panel discussion to prepare aspiring players on life as a collegiate and professional athlete, both before and after the field of play. The week concludes January 9th and 10th with an MLB showcase highlighting the top players in the country.
Buddy Hield and the Golden State Warriors continued to struggle. This time, it was a lopsided loss to one of his former teams. Hield scored just 7 points in the Warriors' 129-99 loss to the Sacramento Kings last night at the Chase Center. After scoring 14 points against the Grizzlies Saturday night, Hield is now averaging 12.2 points per game.
That'll do it for Our Sports. This is 10YS. You think Deshaun was a good GM, getting all the pro players on his team?
Absolutely. He knows how to win and get the money.
That he does. Back to the studio.
Still ahead on our news tonight, a lucky winner drives off in a brand new 2024 BYD UAN Pro SUV. See the moment our grand prize winner in the Ride Easy with Our News promotion gets the keys to her new car. And a chilly start to the work week with temperatures set to stay in the high 60s. Greg is back in the Weather Center to help you plan how to dress for work and prepare the kids for school when Our News returns.
Donald Trump has been elected president, defeating Vice President Kamala Harris.
America has spoken. Donald J. Trump is headed for a second term in the White House with a Republican majority in the Senate and the Supreme Court. On January 20th, the world will witness his inauguration, and Our News will be there. What will his changes mean for Bahamians in the region? Join Jerome Sawyer and the Our News team for a week of reports starting Inauguration Day. Because Our News is always there when it counts.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahama's Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahama's Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching.
This is our news. Welcome back. If you want some cold air mass coming, it's headed this way. We have a cold front now across central Florida. It's dropping into the northwest Bahamas. Expected to bring us a couple of isolated showers with that. But once the front continues to side toward the south, a nice air mass, chilly cold air mass is expected behind. So for the next couple of days, we'll see a couple of fronts coming through, one on Thursday, another one on Saturday. That will continue to reinforce the cold air mass. Looking for some 60s across the northwest Bahamas, mainly during the daytime, especially Grand Bahama, Abaco, and the Bimini area, and 70s, low 70s for most of the remainder of the islands. But once that front goes through, winds will be picking up, boating forecast is going to be changing for us, and we will continue to see that through the rest of the next couple of days. Future forecast, couple of isolated showers with the front dropping across central Florida. We expect once again that front to be in the Grand Bahama area by about midnight, here in the capital early tomorrow morning, and it will be falling apart thereafter. Boating forecast, northwest Bahamas, an advisory posted, high risk for rip currents. The winds will be southwesterly ahead of the front, shifting northwest to north at 15 to 20 knots. They will be gusting to about 30 knots, so near gale force warning for that. 4 to 6 foot seas expected. Tide will be high at 1:70 in the morning, low tide at 7:36. Central and southeast Bahamas, south to southwest winds 10 knots, seas 2 to 4, but up to 6 feet in some swells. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In the extended forecast, a couple of showers with the front coming through tomorrow, but look at the temperatures. They will take a dip, 73 for Wednesday, low 60s during the nighttime hours, warm up by Saturday, and then we expect another front for the weekend. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody.
All right, thanks so much, Greg. Well, during the Boxing Day Junkanoo Parade, our Ride Easy with Our News promotion with Easy Car Sales had its grand finale, announcing Amanda Roxbury as the winner of a brand new 2024 BYD Yuan Pro SUV. Well, today she came to their EV City location on East-West Highway to collect her grand prize. Our Marlena Leonard was there.
I watch Our News regularly, daily, and I just saw it and just decided to enter the drawing.
That's Amanda Roxbury, a loyal Our News viewer, and on Boxing Day, her dedication paid off.
Let's see who that lucky winner is. Dun, dun, dun. Let's turn it around.
Jerome,
okay.
Who do we have?
Amanda Roxbury. Amanda Roxbury. Yes. The winner.
Well, I was sleeping and some friends called me and saw my name on the screen and told me that my name was on the screen, and I saw it on the TV, and I was excited.
For sales team leader Roseanne Johnson, she says the drawing was also her favorite part.
I think doing it at Junkanoo was real pizzazz. So I like the fact that we did, the 10 finalists, and then, a couple hours later we declared a winner. So it was just all the build up towards it.
We asked Roxbury what she was most excited to experience in her new EV.
Well, I'm looking forward to no gas. The electric is going to be an experience for me because I never had an electric vehicle before, and it's amazing.
But before she could drive off in her new ride, the Easy Car team preps her for her new life in Generation E.
We're going to talk about, how to start the car, how to do a charge, and all of that kind of good stuff, things that she'll need to know on a day-to-day basis to get the most out of a vehicle.
Roxbury grateful for it all.
Well, I want to thank God, most of all, for giving me the privilege to win this. And I want to thank Easy Car Sales and Our News for allowing me to be in the promotion for this.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
All right, such a great story. Congrats to you, Amanda, and we are so happy for you. Be sure, if you want to see that story again, it's available now at ournews.bs. And be sure to stay tuned to the Our TV network for more promotions this year. Who knows, you may win a car. You don't want to miss it. With that, we thank you for joining us for Our News tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening.
Hi, and thank you for watching. I'm Natalia Hall. Be sure and hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications to see more content from the team you already trust.